Hello, and welcome to MGB Tech Tips, presented by Fred Humberstone Multimedia. Episode 6 for this month will demonstrate a service procedure for the later, tubed-type rear axle on my 1978 MGB Touring. The issues I will address are a leaking differential cover, cleaning the axle vent, and replacing the rebound straps. For this service, you will need rags, some solvent like mineral spirits, pipe cleaners, Hylomar gasket sealant, razor blades, a utility knife, some socket wrenches, a new differential cover gasket or gasket material, 2 new rebound straps, pipe thread sealant, and 2 U.S. pints of heavy-duty 90-weight gear lube. Like many of you with your MGBs, mine had a fluid leak coming from the rear differential cover. As I lifted the car up onto jack stands, I noticed both of the rebound straps had broken in two, so this would be a perfect time to replace them as well. After draining the old differential lube, I removed the cover and thoroughly cleaned the mating surfaces between the cover and the differential housing. Be careful not to scratch or nick these surfaces if you don't want a new leak. I used a razor blade scraper with plastic blades for this job. I also used this opportunity to thoroughly clean the cover, repair any dents, and made sure the flange was straight and even, and gave it a fresh coat of black paint. I was extremely disappointed to find that the new cover gasket I had ordered did not fit. Once put in place on the cover with the bolt holes paired up at the top, it was obvious the gasket was too short, and the bolt holes did not line up at the bottom. I would have to remove too much gasket material to open the bolt holes, rendering the gasket prone to leak. So, into the trash it went. I did have a roll of paper gasket material, so I decided to make my own. I cut off some of the material a little larger than the cover itself, and traced the outline of the cover and all of the bolt holes onto the gasket material. I then used a compass and adjusted it to match the width of the cover flange, then traced out the width of the cover flange onto the gasket material, then cut out the new gasket. I coated the mating surfaces of the differential and the cover flange with the Hylomar sealant, and then coated both sides of the new gasket, following the directions on the tube of the sealant. I placed the gasket onto the differential, then the cover onto the gasket, followed by all of the bolts. I then tightened all of the bolts in a crisscross pattern. I did this twice, 10 minutes apart, as per the sealant instructions. Then left it for 2 days for the sealant to set before installing the new gear lube. While waiting, I removed the nylon vent pipe from the axle. This is done by first pushing up on the vent cap, which pops off. I then used an awl and passed it through the 2 holes in the tube opposite each other to provide leverage to unscrew the vent tube. Both pieces were covered with dirt and undercoating overspray. The tube also had some black goo inside. I cleaned them up with a pipe cleaner and mineral spirits. Here you can see the uncleaned cap compared to the now clean vent tube. After cleaning, I reinstalled the vent tube, screwing it back into the threaded hole using the awl again. Do not over-tighten, which will strip the threads of the nylon tube. Then, snap the clean cap back onto the top of the vent tube. I have seen posts online from MGB owners reporting that the axle vent on their car was broken off. This may have been caused by a tow truck operator who threw a strap over the rear axle and broke the top of the tube off as he tightened down the strap. This procedure can also crush the rear brake lines that run along the axle. If yours is broken, it can be easily removed using a screw extractor or what is commonly called an easy out with a T-handle. These tools are available wherever taps and dies are sold. And remember, do not ever allow a tow truck operator to place a strap or chain around the rear axle. They can secure the rear wheels with straps instead. The original rebound straps I had replaced when the car was 21 years old. And that was 21 years ago. So we now know just how long these thick rubber straps will last. This time, I opted for the new ballistic nylon straps. I hope I'm still driving the car 21 years from now to see how long the nylon straps last. Refitting the steel bushings into the new straps is difficult. The fit into the loops at each end of the straps is very tight. Coating the outside of the bushing and the inside of the strap loop with a light lubricant and tapping the bushing in with a small mallet made the job much easier. I also coated the inside of the bushings and the outside of the bottom spindle and the upper bolt that the bushings mount through with a little bit of axle grease. This will help prevent corrosion in the future. I recommend coating the threads on the differential drain and fill plugs with pipe thread sealant before you reinstall them. After refilling the differential with the 2 U.S. pints of the heavy-duty 90-weight gear lube, the service is now complete. Thank you for watching MGB Tech Tips presented by Fred Humberstone Multimedia. If you would enjoy seeing more of these free videos, then give it a like. Then please click on the subscribe button.